Howdy folks. Well, I hope you've been enjoying my videos about my modifications to the Fat Tad and my Terra Trike as the ongoing saga continues. Today I want to show you something that I've been working on and I will continue to work on. If you've been watching my videos, you'd know that I've been building out my Sunseeker Fat Tad, and I've done a lot of modifications and a lot of additions to my trike. Today's video is about this side curtain that I built for my Fat Tad. I needed this because the top for this trike is slightly higher than my Terra Trike over here by about 3 inches. And 3 inches on a little top like this is a lot. I'm gonna probably pull it down a little bit more. It's still a little tall, but like I've told you when I started my videos, it's better to start tall and trim them down because it's not that hard to do. But once you cut too much, it's too much and you're done. You have to start over and buy a new top. So this has worked out really well. I love this. These protect when the sun's coming in at an angle, I'm tucked up in here and I can stay out of the sun. I don't like the sun. I love the sun, but that sun will give you cancer, people. So I got to stay out of the sun. So I developed this this top by watching other people that had done it. It was $40-something for the top, and I sourced the fabric for the side curtains and some 1/4-inch wooden dowels that go in the bottom, and I laced them with wire ties and silicone and hot glue. And anyway, I'm going to show you how I build these. I like these so much that I built this one for the Terra Trike. Now look at the difference in the two. Look at that. And look at this size. This is minor compared to this one. This is a beast top, and this little top, sport top, is quite a bit smaller because it's quite a bit closer to my head. So the way I figure out how big these curtains have to be is I sit in the trike and I look out the side, and I want my eyes to be able to look that way and that way without any obstruction, and behind me this way. So once I've figured that out, then that tells me how thick this has to be. So today I'm going to show you, I haven't built it for the other side yet. It hasn't been installed yet. This is the way it looks without it. So I really like those little side curtains. Now, if you watch my videos early on, you would understand that these tops, when you buy them from Amazon or wherever you get them from, the kayak covers come apart very easily and go into a bag. Most of the modifications I made to the top, that's negated that ability. What I will tell you is since the Terra Trike I bought in July, I've been riding it for 6 months, I've never taken that top apart. I want to go over some of the tools that you're going to need to do this modification if you decide to do it. You're going to need a glue gun. I get a mini. Harbor Freight sells these cheap soldering irons. You need one of these. Of course, you need a measuring tape. And go buy a box of these clips, these binder clips like this. I tend to use a lot of this size, and this is what you clamp as you go along with the hot glue. You'll need some RTV. Black silicone is what I use because I'm using a black fabric. You need a 1/4-inch wooden dowel rod, and you'll need a heat shrink that will go over that 1/4-inch dowel rod. And the reason you need heat shrink is it gives it some stability and strength to the wood. Another thing you're going to need is some wire ties for the lacing of the fabric onto the bow. And I buy these cheap, you can buy them anywhere. Another thing I bought is these clamps. They're called aluminum line clamps. I got them off Amazon. They come in 4 pieces, came in here. This size, 5/16 is the size you need, and there's the part number. But it actually is the right size to go around and clamp to the 5/16 is what you'll need to clamp over the top. Some fabric. I bought black. You can buy this from Wally World. I think I got this big old thing of fabric. I made both tops, and I've got way more than I need. You can get this in pink. You can get this in white. You can get this in purple, yellow, red. I kind of like the black because a lot of the trike has black, and I made like a two-tone top. This is not, do not get just 100% cotton. Get polyester cotton blend, because when you use the soldering iron to punch your holes for the lacing, you actually are melting the fabric, and you just poke a little hole. Each place you want to put a wire tie. Okay. Here we go. This is where this aluminum line clamp comes into play. It's going to sit right on top. This flagpole right here is inside the cover, and this top has a 4-inch brass nipple going down into the canopy mounting system. So this clamp's got to sit, the way I'm designing this one, different than the Sunseeker, is this clamp will sit right on top of the brass fitting. You can't clamp that because then you won't be able to take your top off. So this will sit right in here like this. And this will pinch that the flagpole that's inside of here. And then I have another fitting that needs to go on this, which is this one. This is a 1/4-inch hose clamp. As you can see, I got to open it up a little bit. That's what's going to go around my dowel right here. My wooden dowel that I told you about putting heat shrink on. That's going to slide over the end of it like that. And it will attach to the in between the nut and this clamp, and also become part of the clamping system. And that will set in here like this. All right, let's get the nut off the back of this clamp, because I've got to put that other clamp in conjunction with this clamp. I've already installed it onto the end of my dowel, and I let it protrude out the back slightly because it's going to clamp down on it. Again, sitting right on top of that nipple underneath the fabric. You cannot see it. You'd have to watch one of my building the sun top to see what I'm talking about there. There's a 4-inch nipple on the Terra Trike inside that the temp poles slide into. I'm crimping the temp pole off with this clamp right on top of that nipple. That nipple's sitting right there, and it goes down. The flagpole slides inside of this nipple right there all the way down. And that's what's providing the tension to hold it in place. So now this is here. You can swing this dowel down into place, and looks something like that. You can see this right here is pretty tight. Okay, I've plugged in my soldering iron and my glue gun. I'm going to use a thicker wire tie than I will use to lace it with. So I need 3 of these, 3 wire ties. I'm going to find the tent pole inside, and right on the back of that tent pole, I'm going to make a little hole right there, just like that. And we need to make it go all the way through both. This is 2 layers of fabric. There's fabric on the top and there's fabric inside. It's like a sock that this tent pole inside is in. So I need to move that dowel out of the way. You come back here. I can get it a little closer so it doesn't try to make such a big hole. Okay, there you go. And I'll make another one at the end, same fashion, like that. Take a wire tie, reposition a little bit, thread it through the holes. Don't put them too tight yet, get both in. Put the bow where you want it. Make it tight. Same with this one. There's a bow here that I put on top to make it a little more rigid from side to side. I did that a while back. It's done in similar fashion. It's laced in and it's silicone down, so you really can't see much of it, but it makes the top a lot tighter. Let's do one more hole. Got to find the tent pole. And right to the rear of that tent pole, we're going to go right there. The reason you want to use an iron is it's melting the fabric so it doesn't fray out as bad. I'm also going to hot glue in those holes and fill those holes with hot glue. And then I'm going to use RTV silicone to finish it off. Now, there you go. That's a lot better. Okay. Next step is you want your glue gun nice and hot and ready to go. And we're just going to fill these holes with hot glue liberally. This will keep it from, and I just squeeze glue through all that stuff. All this will be hidden with the fabric. Just take this glue and fill that hole up from to go inside there and sheet glue from behind. I'll try to set the camera up, show you that. All we got to do next is get the fabric. You want to get a straight edge of the fabric to the bottom of the bow, down in here. Something like that, just get it started. You don't have to be perfect yet. And I want about I'd say about a ½ an inch. I want enough to where I can fold it around the bow inside. And use these as I go just to clamp it off. So I usually start I just start clamping things off, feeling where the fabric ad is inside, kind of keeping it tight a little bit. Doesn't have to be perfect yet. See, it's loose right there. I can tell by seeing, looking at it. So I'll show you a trick that we can do here. So what I'm going to do for that loose spot is I'm going to pull the fabric and the glue apart right there in that one spot. Now, why is that okay? Because I can re-glue it. So I got me a little place there. Inject some new glue. It's hot glue now. The other glue's already hardened. Take that and roll it into place and put a twist on it and try to get that out. And then I'll put a clamp on it. Now, I'll be lacing this after we get done with ties every 1.5 inches or so. I gotta go see what I did on the other side. Okay. I'm trying to get in here so you see what I'm doing. It's kind of hard to film and get lighting like this and stuff so you can see. I hope you can see what I'm doing. Darn. Spent a lot of time filming. I hope it helps. Putting glue on the front half of the bow. And I'm pulling the material into place, and I just clamp it off a little bit at a time. I'm just running this fabric and wrapping it over the bow and gluing it. We'll come in and lace it later. Right now we just need to get this bottom piece kind of glued in here. Kind of working your way back. So I'll do that all the way to the back of the bow back here. And then, of course, I'll be pulling the fabric back as I go. And then we'll stretch it over the top and get it tight and pull that fabric into position. Okay, now we gotta start pulling this top back tight to see how it's gonna look. Looking pretty good. So I gotta figure out where I'm gonna come off at the front to match the other side. So I come over the top of this this bow about 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch this way. You can make it as wide as you want, because you're going to glue this fabric down tight as you work back. And then we'll come in later and put the bows in. The bows will also some support to tautness. You can pull it in tight. So this gets a little tricky here because you're going to be cutting fabric and you got to cut it straight. So what I do is get some kind of marker that you can see. You pull your fabric to where you want it, and you start marking up the fabric where you want to, you kind of want to cut it. I'm going to taper the front off down to 0 at the leading edge. I just kind of take it out. Once I come off that front edge, I get it to the glue strip that I want, and I try to maintain that down the back. So this is not a precise thing. You just gotta try to maintain that width that you're looking for. Once again, doesn't have to be perfect. We're just getting it close right now. Pinch it off. See, I pulled it and I'm pinching it. And I'm just marking it into my fingers here, at the edge of my fingers. I was looking for a rough, it's probably upholstery guys that probably say, he's doing that wrong. He's not doing that right. No, I've never done upholstery. You didn't know that, did you? We just make marks going down here. I'm going to get it right about here, and I'm not going to try to go too far back. I'll work this back. So these are just guides. Remember, too short's not good. Try not to cut your top underneath. Be careful with your scissors. You see how I have this jagged edge? Don't worry about that. We can trim that up. So I know you can't see my mark because it's black. Black on black. Okay, that's as far as I marked it. Then we take the glue. And we kind of do what we did on the front. The front, I tell you. See, it's got a little bit of a grab in there. You can see where I glued it on the inside. You can see all that. See, it's all glued up in there. Just put a bunch of glue in here. Remember, I'm going to go back on this blue edge. The bow's right there, so I'm going back behind that. So I got to put glue all on this bow is where I'd stop it. And I'll show you how I deal with anything beyond that after that. And kind of just form it into position there. See, it's already getting tight.
Hey babe, do you want to go to the bookstore and go eat?
Okay.
1:45.
I have to add up my babe, my wifey. And now I can work my way back. I'm going to go back to the glue mark here, find my glue. You got a little bit of working time, not a lot. You can't take a break or stand around and smoke a cigarette or whatever you do. See, it's getting tight already back in here. Load your glue gun. Go back, put some glue on it. If you get a little bit of extra poking out, oozing out, don't worry about it, because we're going to go beyond this. When I put my RTV down, I will be on the edge of the fabric. I will not be pulling and pulling as I work. If a little bit of glue oozes out the back of the fabric, don't worry about it. Our RTV line is going to be much wider than this fabric. We're going to seal the edge of that. We're going to cover up our sins. Our sins. We're covering up our sins. Oh, Kelly. We're sinners. Boy, these glue guns are neat. They really make this possible. I don't know how you do this without a glue gun. And that glue's pretty stout. I mean, I don't know if it'll take a 50-mile-an-hour wind. The lacing's what helps that. This top, if it's going to be that hard a wind, just take it off. Pay attention to your weather. You shouldn't be riding a trike out not knowing what's going on out there. It's going to get windy and you're going to be out. Take it off and go without your top. Go topless. Topless. You're stupid, Smitty. Dummy. I cracked myself up, I tell you. She's amazing. When you're in the shop, you make voices. I don't know, I do. I talk to myself out here all the time. Now I'm talking to you, which is kind of like talking to myself because I can't see you. I know you're out there. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. I think you can. Going over that, there's a dowel right here that goes across the back that I put in a few months ago. If you watch my videos, you can see it right behind my head. Right behind my cranium. Huge, I tell you, it's huge. Noggin's huge. He's got a huge noggin. His head's enormous. It's huge. I gotta get it pretty tight. I'm forming it as I go. You can see I'm stretching it out. And pull it tight enough. Come on now. Get in down there. Get in there. Get in there, boy. Get down in there. Yeah, ain't gonna work. And now I'm gonna finish this corner off. So I'll take my scissors, pull up that edge. These aren't the right kind of scissors for this. They make special scissors for cutting at this angle. It's my favorite tool. This way. I'm going to finish off this nose piece. Hot, it's hot, it's hot, it's kind of hot. And you just push that into place. Kind of work it in. So I'll be covered in silicone up here, so don't worry about it. Not silicone, RTV. I guess that's silicone, huh? Okay, now it's time to lace this thing. What you do is you come in here and get right above the bow and make a little pinhole. And we come over here just like that. And we come over here just like that. And you do a few at a time. Put the end up inside, leave them long for right now, and then you go back and cut them here in a little bit. Clean all. So basically you do that all the way down. Okay, right up in here we got to start clipping these wire ties. Use a pair of diagonal cutters to the top. Now these, as we work our way back, once you get them in there, you spin them into position to where they're pushing out on the top slightly. As we work our way back, I want to leave these long. I'll show you why. Get these up here to help support the top. Anyway, you do that. I have a glue gun. And we want to glue all these from the back side. Okay, what we want to do now is take this blue painter's tape. I know it's blending in with the top. This tape right here. And we make a fine line right along the edge of the fabric to the widest point that you want. all the way and taper off the front. Starting at this point, I'm going to take RTV and I'm going to make a fine bead all the way down. While it's still wet, I'm going to pull it off. I'm going to pull this off. Cloth rag. We want to clean the tip of your RTV off so it's a nice clean. Want a pretty good bead along the edge. You need to wet your finger. We rub it down to that tape and up on the edge of this seam that we just made here. Don't worry about having excess, just bring it back to the top, right to the edge. Got any big divots, go ahead and fill them in with that silicone or RTV or whatever you want to call it. What I did over here is I rubbed RTV into the fabric and got a finish on it. It's shiny. So let's do that on the other side. Have a rag handy to get it off your hands and stuff. Just start squeezing it on here like that. Work it down around those laces. Rub it into the material. Get in there. It ain't going nowhere. Once it dries, it makes it almost like a drum. I mean, it's pretty tight now, but it's going to get better. See how it's kind of buckled down at the bottom? Go ahead and fill that gap in. Fill it in. It's just like Bondo. Over those laces. You can even come back later and add more if you want. It'll blend right in there. Down here at the bottom, just fill that in with silicone. What I did, I won't tell anybody if you won't. We'll keep it our secret. Anyway, you get the gist of it. All right, folks, I think that's it. I think we're done. I'll go back later and touch it up. Like where you see it real shiny right in there, I can just go in there and rub that out a little bit while it's still wet. And go back and add silicone later. I can feel this void down here at the bottom. The void, it's got some in there now. It's setting up. But once it sets up, I'll go add some more. And anyway, that's what my top looks like now. My little winglets, my little wings. A little dusty, I need to clean it. That's it. I don't know if you noticed, but the top used to go up high like this. When you add these bows in here, that's as high as it's going to go. The point that it bends is changed. I like it better actually. So let's go for a ride and test it out. Let's turn this beast on. 80% of my battery. I went on a 15-mile ride yesterday. Adjust our mirrors back out where they belong. Somewhere out there I can adjust them once we get going. Need to clean them. They're dirty. Dirty.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Captain speaking. Just about ready to depart. We should be away on schedule in the next couple of minutes or so. Flight time will be 9 hours and 40 minutes. We'll eventually reach a cruising altitude of 35,000.
Let's see how these work. The sun's almost down. It's perfect. The sun is almost down and it's not hitting my eye. I mean, it's really low. The sun's, I'm 30 minutes from sundown. And my face has got a little bit of protection. That's exactly what I wanted. Yeah, just tuck my head back in here and it's out of the sun. Anyway, thank you for taking a ride with me today and watching my videos. I hope you enjoy my content. Some of you may or may not want to take the time to build this. It took me about, I don't know, 2 hours to build each side. I got 4 hours into these wings. Cheap stuff, nothing expensive. I bet you don't have more than 20 bucks in the whole, all these sides. So anyway, thanks for coming along today, and till next time, have a nice day.
Do our best to give you a smooth flight over turbulence as always possible. For that reason, it's company policy to recommend that you keep your latch strap securely fastened throughout the flight and visible to the cabin crew. If the seatbelt sign is switched on for turbulence, then please ensure that you return to your seat immediately. Also, please note this is a non-smoking flight. Please make yourselves comfortable. I do hope you enjoy the flight.